Hey everyone, I'm Bone.
And I'm AC Denton. I don't have my spleen anymore.
Originally, we had an idea about doing the supercut for the Fragments video.
They're the worst part of the episode, and for the most part, they just tell us shit we already know.
Unfortunately, due to limitations, we were unable to do this. Oh shit! So instead, we'll be cutting the Fragments into 4 parts.
Murder.
I was half asleep, so I didn't even hear the phone ringing nearby. After a while, I finally realized the phone was ringing, and a ringing phone means it's some kind of an emergency. It's 2 in the morning. That's very relatable. Who would even call me at this time of night? Cap. Hello, this is Irie.
I'm sorry to bother you, Dr. Irie.
It's Takano-san. I guess I'm Irie now. She never called me for a personal reason. At the Institute, she's ranked just below me. She's basically responsible for running it. We've already had this discussion. But for her to call me this late at night, it must be an emergency. Sorry it took me so long. Is it true that we have another terminal patient?
Yes. I was hoping to find a living specimen, so this is perfect.
I initially thought that she'd abducted someone. The man had already been moved to the research area in the clinic's basement. Having been tied down to the examination table, he's struggling against his restraints. More as though he's deranged than actually resisting. Can you understand what he's saying? He sounds angry, sorrowful, like a child throwing a tantrum all at once. It's obviously he's not in the right state of mind. Anyway, let's put him under anesthesia. He might kill himself otherwise.
Oh, where's the fun in that? I wanted to observe him a little longer, but I guess I have no other choice.
One of the staff with a white gown got the anesthesia ready. Even a normal person would struggle to escape a restraining table in this suspicious room. But this man's behavior is at an abnormal level. I'm sure Okanoki-san and his friends from the Mountain Dogs are the ones who captured him. Capturing a man in this state of mind couldn't have been an easy task. According to Takano, she ran into this patient on her way home from the clinic by accident. No, AC, your son isn't going to magically appear in the scene.
Oh.
And also, for the record, yes, that scene was from that fucking clip was from the hen house. They just love reusing assets, I guess. She brought him back here, tested him, and the results came back positive. Of course, I have no intention of just believing what she's telling me. There's no question that this man is at the terminal stage, and a live specimen exactly what we need to research the syndrome. Who is this man, anyway?
He had something wrapped in newspaper. What do you think was in it?
Ugh, what is this? This Garfield comic is horrible. Something wrapped in a bloody newspaper on a tray nearby. Looking at the blood-drenched paper, I can only imagine something gruesome inside of it. If Takano-san looked like she wanted to surprise me with something interesting. Oh, God. This is awful. It's a bloody right arm. The man on the table still has his. That arm doesn't belong to him. So who does it belong to? I'm used to looking at things like this as a doctor. But the horrible cross-section makes me want to look away. It wasn't done according to medically acceptable methods, that's for sure. He was obviously done out of cruelty.
Judging by the situation, you can assume this man cut off this arm.
So he's the culprit behind the body dumping that's been occurring in the neighborhood. At that point, there was no way of knowing who the right arm belonged to. The next morning, the dismemberment murder of the damn construction site director was reported. It mentioned that his right arm was still missing. So we learned who the right arm belonged to.
This man has a criminal record, and he's on probation. Yet he committed another crime. I bet he dismantled the body in order to hide it.
I'm sure it depends on the circumstances. But I'll get more than just a few years in prison. I'll also give him a lobotomy, just to be safe.
So you won't hesitate to dissect a scumbag like him, right?
I already said I'm doing the lobotomy. Who knows? Maybe he was a scumbag before and became violent due to the syndrome. Or maybe he had gone straight but became violent again due to the syndrome. The former is one thing, but if it's the latter case, that's not his fault.
Splitting hairs.
That's why Hinamizawa syndrome is so terrifying. We can't tell if the syndrome is the cause of the crime, or if it's simply a cause of human nature. But what causes a deficit of human nature in the first place? This was precisely Irie's area of research. Oh, okay, third person. Hate the crime, not the criminal. And criminals only be corrected by punishing them with imprisonment.
It's the game, not the player.
If the person commits a crime because of a mental disorder, but then gets treatment, he is corrected. In other words, there are no crimes in this world. Only patients awaiting treatment without anyone else being able to understand them. In medieval times, it's a great restaurant, by the way. I think Randy Pitchford went there once. Patients with mental disorders were said to be possessed by demons, and they were either confined or killed. Centuries after, they were finally acknowledged as mentally ill people who needed treatment. You know, after they were horribly mutilated. Perception can change with time.
Yeah.
Even if they are called criminals now, maybe after several centuries, those criminals will be acknowledged as patients who are entitled to appropriate treatment. Explaining crimes through illness instead of malice. That's my life's work. Hinamizawa syndrome is a strange disease that can support my theory. Solving its mysteries is extremely important to me. You know, Nora's saying, and now back to my just safe and perfectly normal lobotomies. Maybe just imagine like a, what is it? It's like that fucking doctor game by Atlas, where it's like a
Trauma center.
Yeah, it's like it's a
trauma center.
It's a trauma center thing, but it's Irie performing a lobotomy.
Yeah, it's the one with Chie, but good, right?
Yeah, it's one with Chie, but good.
You know, he does kind of look like the main character in that first game.
Oh, and the nurse is Takano.
Oh my god, there's an alternate universe of that game.
Trauma center, where the solution is always a lobotomy.
It all adds up.
And curing parasites.
Dr. Styles. He isn't brain damaged enough. Give me another scalpel!
I think this person has that one particular virus, parasite again. Again?
To solve those mysteries, I need a medical sacrifice. It's an extremely sinful thing to do, but there's no way to unravel this without it. The Irie Institute was authorized to take such drastic measures if necessary. That's why I asked about it so many times when I accepted the position of director. Takano, give me my twirling mustache so I can be a villain while I'm doing this medical sacrifice. And finally, the opportunity is here. This will be the first step on our research of this strange disease. But even now, I'm a little hesitant. I've opened up human bodies in many surgeries. What I'll be doing on this man is something very similar. It's also something that's very different. What I did before was part of treatment. I did it to save the patient's lives. I did it so the patients could have a better future. What I'm trying to do here isn't treatment. He will die at the end of it. I'm simply fucking around and seeing what happens. His death will be far from humane. I'm going to violate nature and force him to stay alive, while I open up his living brain.
It's gonna be really fucked up.
Maids!
Yeah, boy!
I had canon as he does the maids thing because it's not as gruesome. It's like how he forgets the
Satoko,
bullshit
I'm
he had
begging
to
you,
do.
don't look in the cabinet that's marked special scalpels, please! Anyways, Con, whenever you're ready.
Oh yeah, my. Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's
Just
fine.
came in my room. Boy. Don't worry, they didn't hear anything about the special scalpels.
You know, I'm glad I backed Friday Night Funkin' because I get fucking project updates like the guy going, I fell down the stairs today and broke both my legs.
That is so funny how he'll never walk again.
Oh, he's
so fucking glad I'm not the only one back Friday Night Funkin'.
Here, hold on a second. Let me look at some of these.
How much did you donate?
These updates because they're fucking hilarious. Hold on a second.
How much did you back, dude?
I just did $15.
I did 10.
A word of thanks. Wait, if you do $5 more, you'll be able to get the game, Con. Like $10 doesn't get you anything.
What?
You have to
Bruh.
give a little bit more money if you want to actually get the game, Con.
Shut up,
An
I'm doing
extra
the thing right
$5. An extra $5 gives you all the funking you need.
One of them is Kawaii Sprite has a butthole that's freaking tight. One of them just says lol. Backer's only update, it's a picture of someone smoking a bong. And the first one is, hi lol, why'd you guys give us so much money? You guys are weird. Anyways, whenever you're ready, Con. I'm just saying, maybe give him 10 more. Maybe give him like $5 more and you'll get the game.
Yeah, give him $5 more.
The update. I thought it was like he has a butthole. That's pretty tight. Instead, it's like he has a butthole that's pretty tight.
Hey, the bit's actually going on way too long now. Can we get back to this, please?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, get on with it, like Monty Python.
You there?
Con?
I'm here.
I'm with it.
You ready?
Look, there's a quota for being funny, and unfortunately we passed it a long time ago.
I'm gonna have to log back into my Kickstarter thing for that.
Fucking Christ, Joshy!
What? You act like that's not true!
I mean,
What
it's...
the heck happened?
I'm gonna shit out my whole ass, oh my god!
I don't get it. What happened?
Here, I'm gonna put it on the stream.
Put it on the stream.
I'm gonna hang it up on the fridge for everyone to see. 11 drilling tips and tricks. Featuring Dr. Irie.
I want to
Oh
say
my god!
that person's talking about normal plywoods. Please, if you want to check actual hardware stuff, maybe check him out. I don't know who he is.
Cross your heart and hope to die, am I right? Okay, whenever you're ready for real now.
Yeah, cross your heart and hope to die. Jesus motherfucking Christ!
Finish the steps, Isaac.
Dr. Irie? Are you listening?
Sorry. Can you repeat that?
I believe it best we submit the dissection proposal to Tokyo and request their assistance. He's not only alive, but he's also in the terminal stage, so he's an extremely important specimen. We must conduct the dissection very carefully.
That's true. You're right. Let's do as you say.
I think we'll have a few days before the dissection. Oh, I want to run some reaction tests once he's off the anesthesia.
Do you think that's safe? Even if he's restrained, we don't know what will happen.
We finally have the opportunity to test a live specimen. We can't only look into his brain.
I thought you already said this was a brain parasite. I feel like we're kind of overstepping our bounds a little bit. Talking to San's unusual cheerfulness made me feel odd. Maybe her reaction is normal. Maybe I'm the one who's not reacting normally in this situation. Maybe my blood mode is activating. I'm only here for the research. I'm excited to have the opportunity to perform our first live dissection. But I'm still hesitant. How can I call myself a researcher? Researchers of the past were brave enough to cross this line, and not so they accomplished many things. I've seen many brains, I've operated on them. I've lost some patients, too. But I never thought anything of it because I knew that I did the right thing. Even when my hard work was denied afterwards. If it pained me to think of that, then I just needed to advance the field of medicine so that the deaths weren't wasted. That's the true formula of advancing the field of medicine. Yes. Why was my heart tormented so much by just changing the name from treatment to dissection? Am I not man enough to emulate those great men of the past who opened the doors to new medicine? Don't have the power to develop new advances myself?
Hey. What's the matter, Director? Are you feeling okay?
Takano's pretending to be concerned about me, but she knows. She knows I'm still hesitating. She's telling me that I should be ashamed as a researcher for feeling that way. I shook my head to clear the sleepiness. Remember the resolve that brought me to this day. I already have blood on my hands. But if I stop now, their lives will be wasted. Those who shed their blood can only rest in peace once they've become cornerstones of great research. I shook my head once more as I reminded myself that I'm a researcher. No. I was just thinking. Takano-san, please get some arrangements with Tokyo. Let me know when it's done.
Okay. Understood. This is really exciting.
The least I can do is my best, so his life won't be wasted. If he bleeds, I can't even waste a drop of his blood. Scolding my staff for their indiscretion, discussing the dissection with such excitement, I returned to my office.
I was gonna say, Takano has a boner for murder.
Sure does.
I've got a
And
boner
now
for
pledge
murder.
$15 for Friday Night Funkin'.
Nice. Hey!
I don't know what to say. I want to say something, but I can't think of the right words. I can only sigh.
Oishi-san! I've been here, looking for you. The section manager asked me about the wanted poster.
Random forensics investigator.
Be quiet. This is a place of rest.
As Kumagai bars in the room, the old coroner quickly snapped back at him.
Sorry. The section manager asked me about the wanted poster for the suspect.
Ah, can you talk to Komiyama-kun about that? I need to speak to the coroner here. Could you tell him I'll be right over?
Okay.
Kumagai ran out of the autopsy room with the same haste as he entered in.
Lively, isn't he?
The old man would have slapped him for making such a fuss.
You probably should go back too. The air in here isn't for people who aren't used to it.
You're right. If I slack off too long, I might get slapped as well.
Here in Shishibon, all the hoodlums cross the street when you pass through. Yet he's the only one, past or future, who's ever punched you for splitting your sumo wrong.
He really was a merciless man. I think he punched me more times than my real father.
Doesn't matter if he was your real one or not. If you looked up to him in the same way, then he really was a father to you.
My real father passed away in Nagoya. We're talking about... okay?
We're getting Oishi backstory.
He was unlucky. If he wasn't given the order to move to a plant in Nagoya, he would have died in an air raid. If I could have rode it out and had another half a year or so, then the war would have been over. Or he, eh. I was sad, of course, but I was grown up enough by then I didn't cry into the ground like my mother did. People feel sadness in different ways. Some people fuck at funerals. I cut off heads. For some people it comes all at once in an overwhelming wave. But others feel sadness gradually, over a long period of time. I think I was the latter. When he was alive, I only thought of him as annoying, in my mind. I even cursed him with questions about why he avoided the draft. Thought my feelings towards him would always be the same. Then the war ended. I saw families and friends being reunited with joy as they came home from the front. It finally happened. I grieved for my father's death. The train was filled with people who were sad and full of despair. I knew I wasn't the only one whose life ended up that way. But I remember I was very, very heartbroken. After the war, the nation completely changed. As a policeman, the environment I worked in went through sudden changes too. To forget my sorrow, the only thing I could do was devote myself to my work. At the time, I was in charge of busting people for buying rice illegally. I conducted spot checks on travelers in major train stations. And boy, did I find a lot of them. There was a fairly big black market in Gogura. A lot of people came from as far as Osaka to buy it. After the war, Japan faced a chronic shortage in food supply. To those ends, the Nations instituted a food rationing program by signing the Food Control Act. But the rations the government provided weren't even close to being enough to feed families. Therefore, there was no choice but other than buying food and supplies on the black market. The government had hardly enough food for rations, but there was somehow plenty on the black market. The dealers there sold it at outrageous prices, and some of them became quite wealthy. The Sonozaki family made their money through the black market, but that's another story. The government didn't bother arresting these dealers. For, with their money, they were able to buy off the top members of the police department. Instead, they decided to go after the people buying the goods. They even confiscated the rice they bought by selling everything they own.
Yeah, I remember that. Wasn't there a prosecutor who starved himself to death?
Yeah, there was. The prosecutor was vowed not to eat illegal rice, starved to death, wasn't it, in 1947? That was horrible. He, a public prosecutor, proved himself that people couldn't survive by adhering to the law. That prosecutor grew tired of the government charging people with doing whatever they had to do to survive. He proclaimed that he was never going to buy black market rice again. In 1947, he starved to death when he was only in his mid-30s. The law prohibited people from buying black market rice. That was the only way to survive. In that case, was the Food Control Act a bad law itself? The death of this prosecutor was seen as a desperate message to the government about the unjustness of that law. We rounded up people with bags of rice and lined them up as a temporary inspection point next to the station. Like a military tribunal. Next to their bags and confiscating everything that they had bought at the black market. The women all cried. Sold everything they owned to buy that rice. They pleaded that if we confiscated their rice, how would they feed their starving children?
Doesn't make sense, huh? Yet they forbade you from going after the sellers, so it was absolutely unfair from the view of the people.
Everyone was on edge. If a police inspection was set up in the next station, they'd jump off the train and run. Where are these people? So we set up several officers near jump-off spots in order to capture them. I remember chasing after women carrying several kilos of rice on them. That's when I first met the old man. I was surprised. Remember my father? Looked exactly like him. I really thought maybe my father had miraculously survived the air raid in Nagoya. I was chasing him in and was running away from the inspection point. There's no way for him to run with a heavy bag of rice on him. Whether he got arrested with the illegal rice, or escaped by ditching the rice that he had bought by selling all of his belongings. In other words, the person is being chased off by the police, that person can't provide his family any rice to eat. Of course I felt guilty about that. They'd be able to buy rice in order to survive. They had a tacit agreement to let those who ditched the rice and ran get away. Those are the same thing as I chased them. Please, throw it away. I didn't want to catch him. I didn't want to hear him crying and pleading in distress. Then the old man showed up. He looked exactly like my dead father. I was dumbfounded. Then, all of a sudden, he punched me in the head. If father disciplines you as a child, you lower your head in apology. I was happy to see my father alive. I couldn't hold my joy in. The old man said, "Let him go." When I heard his voice, I realized he wasn't my father. I would arrest him for assaulting a policeman. But a young man like me, barely grown any hairs yet, was no match for an older man used to fighting. Yeah, he sure taught me a lesson. He gave me a good scolding in the middle of the street after I was all beat up. I wouldn't even listen to him, right? But something struck me then. I kept seeing my father in him. All I could do was listen.
Yeah, he was a ruffian, but he showed his guts like a real man. That's what made him such a great guy. You don't see men like him nowadays. He was a true example of a man from the good old times.
Despite my age, I still needed a father. Need someone to look up to and show me what makes a man a man. When I thought about it, I really did have two fathers. The other man was a father, a brother, and my best friend. But now he realized with his head, body, arms, and legs all dismembered, and his right arm hadn't been found. He taught me how to be a man, how to enjoy alcohol, how to play mahjong, and how to enjoy the joys of air conditioning. With that right arm, he gave me a good beating when I did something wrong. That right arm is still missing.
Do you have any suspects?
Yeah, of course. I swear. I'll find the old man's right arm and pay them back for what they've done to him. They're running Hinamizawa from the shadows, doing this collective crime they call the Dam Protests. The Sonozaki family. I declare war within myself. I already know who my enemy is.
So I did miss a bit because I went to go get something to drink. But what I'm essentially getting is that Oishi has a big fucking beef with fucking these Sonozakis, and it's based off of something Sonozakis didn't do.
Marguerite.
Jack, he's not eating it.
Marguerite. Like it's like her, except not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That is actually
Not crazy.
Actually,
Hold
actually, that's a really good class action. That fuck. Fuck you! I can't eat all these apples.
Oh god. Faraday-san, thank you for waiting. We just finished the last test. She'll be back soon. I hope she's able to help. Of course! Rika-san will help the whole village. They'll be able to come up with the treatment soon. Just looking into the structure, but we're finding out how important Rika-san is to these villagers. People with more serious conditions can stabilize themselves. Found out if they get close to the Queen Carrier, there's some kind of substance in their brain. This has a calming effect, and it seems to have the power to bring their symptoms down. It can produce this substance that'll end up making it for a powerful treatment. I see. Rika has that kind of power.
You shouldn't be surprised. People say that maidens of the Furude family shrine have the psychic power to calm both souls and demons, don't they? Even before we discovered it was already recorded in the history of the last few hundred years.
That's true. I'm impressed with how wise people were back then.
Me. The tests are all done.
Rika, good work. I was beginning tired. Let's take this and go get something to drink.
Me. He's have a lot of my blood. We need to replenish.
Fuck my voice today.
Rika took the 108 coin that was offered to her and ran into the hallway, and then passed out due to blood loss. I appreciate Rika-san's help. If she hadn't offered her assistance, our research wouldn't have progressed this far. Rika is very concerned about her friends with the syndrome. She wants to help because of her. Doctor, please take Rika's feelings into account. Of course. We're taking up her precious time every Sunday. Make sure to get to the bottom of this. We had to put her through some rather rough experiments, but I hope you'll understand.
We'll never harm her in any way, though. She's such an important person. She's the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama, after all.
I wonder how people back then found out about the syndrome. Now they knew the Furude family was the descendants of the Queen. I'm truly impressed. By the way, something I have to ask you. I ask you for your permission to collect her cerebrospinal fluid. Also the chance we'll have to drill a hole in her skull to examine the inside of her head.
Come on!
A hole in her skull? Of course, we'll take every precaution. I have the special needles for it. Rika-san is the one and only Queen Carrier. I'm sure that she's safe. Her safety is our priority.
Can we drill a hole in your kid's brain?
You see, I wasn't that far off with that fucking Photoshop.
You were not!
Get this,
Can we take a
get
drill
the
to your
scary
girl's
Dead
brain?
Space machine!
Oh my god! Fucking screwdriver noir! Okay.
Driver emoji.
Chun is a girl. We won't shave her entire head. We'll leave a little side off like a faux hawk. That's all the rage right now, isn't it? However, we'll have to ask her to stay at the clinic a little longer so we can keep our eyes on her.
She can still receive visitors, of course. You're more than welcome to attend the examination. I'm sure it'll be more relaxed to have someone she knows nearby while I'm drilling a hole in her skull. You really need to perform this examination? Is it really safe? I can't absolutely guarantee her safety for either collecting cerebrospinal fluid or drilling a hole in her skull. There's always the option something might go wrong. Also, Rika-chan may suffer from from physical and emotional discomfort. Even if it's this important, we can't perform without the parents' consent.
Ellipses.
Ellipses.
Actually, I've already talked to Rika-chan about it.
What'd she say?
She said that it's fine.
I explained to the possibility of danger. Lending your consent. Sometimes, you can truly believe that she's the reincarnation of Oyashiro-sama. And she feels obligated to sacrifice herself for the village. What an impressive child. Could you please let me talk to my wife? She understands the situation, but I still need to explain it to her. Sure, of course. I'm sure she'll have a perfectly reasonable reaction to asking us for us asking to open up a hole in your daughter's head. So please talk it over with her. The examination is an extremely important step in the process of stamping out the syndrome, right?
Of course, and it's not at all anything related to Irie's fascination with drilling holes in things or sticking sticks in holes and smearing them around inside.
Please, you're embarrassing me, Takano. It's to solve the mysteries of Hinamizawa syndrome for sure.
I just look at the decision and says, "This isn't my beautiful wife."
This is not my beautiful shrine. This is not my beautiful wife. Let the days go by.
Let the water go.
After the money's gone.
At least it will be the first step.
As I already explained, if something happens to the Queen Carrier, the whole community here might be in danger. In other words, it's possible the whole village could end up with terminal symptoms.
That's right. According to the studies, within 48 hours of the death of the Queen Carrier, everyone with the disease will become dangerously sick. We must prevent that from happening no matter what.
Something happens to Rika, the whole village will go insane. Yes. It's our job to prevent that. Might seem ironic that we have to put you and your daughter in danger. There's no way to stamp out the syndrome. Dr. Irie, I will succeed in that examination.
As I said, there are no guarantees in medicine.
Sure. Irie answered with a nod, interrupting Takano's vague response. I will succeed. I'll save Rika-san. The villagers, too. I promise. Okay. I'll talk to my wife. I'll let you know our decision. Yes. Thank you.
Oh yeah, his wife is super gonna say no to that.
After Rika and her father left, Takano started to laugh. What is it? What's so funny?
Oh, nothing. I just thought it was amusing to get permission from both the patient and her parents beforehand.
Rika-chan's going through something she doesn't have to. I thought I should as a courtesy. I would have gotten consent from the man last year had he been in his normal condition.
Are you being tormented with guilt ever since you started your research here?
What do you mean? This type of teasing was normal from Takano, but maybe she had gone a little too far. He made it clear how displeased he was to hear that.
You can only research Hinamizawa syndrome by using living beings. You feel guilty continuing your work because of that.
Those guilty feelings are necessary. Whether it's a murder or dissection, the fact that you are taking someone's life is the same. I have to accept that. and at the same time devote ourselves to our research.
That's an extremely impressive theory you have there. Then, Dr. Urie, how many times have you gotten consent before you cut into people's brains?
Ellipses.
I'm waiting.
Gary didn't think Takano knew about that.
How many brains have you cut up without consent, using your selfish little theory that people commit crimes due to mental disorders as your excuse? I'd love to know the answer.
That is...
Common sense changes with time. Back then, doctors didn't need to explain anything or get consent beforehand. So I don't think you have to be concerned about the past. It'd be a problem now, but it was okay back then. So that's fine. But you feel guilty, and that's why you want to get consent from Riku-chan beforehand. And why you wanted to get it from him, right?
That's not true. In the first place, the treatment and the dissections are...
Listen, boy. What you want is the stamp of forgiveness known as prior consent. Right? What you want is some stamp of forgiveness. Some deception to fill your heart so you can atone for your past sins. If you regretted what you've done, then you'd never get involved with brains again. Yet you're dragging regrets behind as you continue to deal with brains, guilty all the while. If you truly acknowledged your actions as sin, then you would have refused to accept the appointment as director. Isn't that right, boy?
I didn't listen to this. Excuse me.
You must listen. The field of medicine is constantly won in battles against that era's ethics and social values. When Dr. Takano discovered the existence of this syndrome, the people in power at the time just disregarded their own ignorance and scoffed at his foresight. But he didn't stop researching until he collapsed. He believed that someday it would be acknowledged. Even if it was after he died, he still believed in it. Could do only that because of how strong his conviction was. If it wasn't for that, he would have given up. Strong will is what keeps research going. Only the most determined can achieve a result. But you don't have that. You're a coward who still can't decide if he should be proud or ashamed of his achievements. How could you accept the position of director with such a half-hearted determination? You knew from the beginning that this research couldn't be brought to fruition without adding further blood to your already stained hands.
I don't know what to say. Maybe I am half-hearted.
Then why don't you resign? You'll still have the obligation to keep things secret, but at least you won't have to feel guilty anymore. You may be my partner, but you're also simply a person who was requested by my client. Now that this research institute is fully developed, you aren't needed. If you don't even have the necessary determination to do research to begin with, you're an especially useless partner. I'll never quit researching. I'm not afraid of guilt or regret. My conviction is what will take me to the future. Just like Dr. Takano succeeded, I'll succeed alone.
That's impressive. However, through my determination may not come clear. close to yours. I too have a will. And that's why I am here. As you said, I already have blood on my hands. After I arrived in Hinamizawa, they got even bolder. Bloodier. I can't just run from my responsibilities. Probably continue to be tormented by my unatoned sins. But I won't run. I'll get to the bottom of Hinamizawa syndrome. That's the least I can do for all the people who gave their lives for this research. And also for those who will give their lives from now on. Very more determined look on his face. He appeared different from maybe the moment before, when he was baffled by Takano having brought up those painful memories. For a short while, Yuri's eyes displayed his strong will, and he turned around. He'll probably get consent for Rika-chan's examination. Please stop preparing for it.
Yes, I understand. Director.
They got their consent the following week.
I'm
Oh,
very
that was fun.
curious how they got the consent.
Drill, 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 drill.
See, Irie's based, he just likes Ted Rising a lot.
Okay, then.
Alright.
The lights came on in the meeting room as the slideshow ended, and all the auditors began to applaud, praising the Yuri institution's dramatic accomplishments.
Not today. In the bureaucrat, go!
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. To be honest with you, I wasn't expecting very much from the Hinamizawa syndrome research. I figured that even if there was progress, it would be 3 steps forward and 2 steps back every decade. Oh, wait.
Oh,
That's
oh
awesome.
my! Oh, is that you?
I'm not sure.
Bureaucrat.
Yeah.
Different bureaucrat, just go ahead with it.
Oh, fuck, I'll do it. How impressive is to achieve so much in such a short period of time? I'm continuing with the Nazi thing, okay. This is all thanks to you, Director Irie.
Oh no. It's all because of the staff that supported me and Takano-san too.
I'm smiling. Don't be so humble. Director Irie is a genius in the field of neurology. After all, he's also produced greater achievements than any other doctor when it comes to the brain.
That's true. I'm just gonna. Not many doctors as young as you have nearly as much experience operating on brains.
I'm gonna let you have it because that German accent is just too funny.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Colonel Irie! Now I go to Tokyo with my head held high. I go back to streaming! I'm honored to give you something good to take back with you, Tomitake-san. By the way, could you stop calling me Lieutenant Colonel? I just couldn't get used to it.
Would you prefer Fiora?
I also prefer Risa-san at this point. I bet you do, huh?
I hate this joke. You sure were a huge help. You're the one who secured funding for our research, even when we couldn't produce feasible results. We couldn't have done this without you.
It wasn't any trouble. But really, the results you presented today are just brilliant! Maybe you found the cause of the syndrome and prepared a clear path towards future research. We're looking forward to hearing more progress when we come again next time.
I'm sure the Tokyo office will quit bothering us about cutting your budget with these sort of results.
After all, we nearly lost our budget for the canned coffee we provided to you all, didn't we?
Oh, fuck. Oh, God, I keep hiccuping every time I try to do that. I keep trying to do an evil laugh, and I just keep hiccuping every time.
Maniacal laughter. Maniacal laughter.
Fuck!
I am laughing evilly. I am laughing right now.
Okay, there we
Start
go.
out low, and then you'd
Try a
gradually
couple
build on top of
tries.
it.
Tomitake-kun, make sure you report our progress to Tokyo well enough that they give us enough funding to hold the party. We've been getting nothing but the stick. It is time for the carrot.
Okay.
Oh fuck! Get myself hiccups trying to do that. Well, the obvious the carrot comes back in the shape of funding.
Maniacal laughter! Maniacal laughter!
I'm not supposed to be in the scene yet.
I was just curious to see. Oh, I got it.
You are shifting in front of my very eyes! You are mutating!
So what happened?
I wanted to see what the different art style looked like, so I just started fucking flicking through them. I saw old Tomitake.
Show that old Tomitake again. There we go. He looks like a communist.
Yeah, a little bit.
He looks like he's from the Soviet Union.
A part of me
You know
wants me to get a
what
snack
the
real quick, but a part of me is gonna tell me that
scenes of Hellsing
Okanogi's gonna
Ultimate.
pop up any second. Like the moment I leave the room.
Hellsing Ultimate, anyone?
Yeah, that was good.
Yes, it is.
I know who's talking. And with that congenial atmosphere, our routine audit was over. You're surrounded by being questioned by National Institute of Infectious Disease workers who had joined the auditors. Dagano-san, congratulations! I can't really say this out loud, but all the progress I've seen tonight is thanks to your hard work.
Thank you, Jiro-san.
Oh, you.
Jiro-san and I are the only ones here who know that strings were pulled in order to create the idiots. So, only Jiro-san can understand what I had to go through. But I've only just risen to the stage for my research. My opponent and I are finally in the same arena, that's all. Critical fight comes after this. And it should be getting even more exciting in the future.
By the way, Manager Nakagawa told me to tell you that he wants you to hold a presentation in Tokyo. Even the Alphabet Board wants you to come and meet with them. Guess they all want to hear this directly from you.
Oh my. Isn't having you explain enough?
That's what they mean. But they might meet such a pretty researcher in person, maybe.
My. Aren't you being silly, Jiro-san?
No, but apparently I'm being too subtle. Random mountain dog.
Wait,
Excuse
that's Cap, right? Yeah.
This is my... Excuse me! Major Takano, there's been a phone call for you from Tokyo.
Thank you for holding. This is Takano.
I guess I'll do it.
Actually...
Hey! How are you doing? Oh.
Koizumi-sensei!
Oh, it's Koizumi, okay.
Thank you for taking time to call me.
Which
Yeah,
Koizumi?
that was my dog.
we're gonna say that Cap, you're Koizumi now.
Okay. You know, I heard you made significant breakthrough, Mio-chan.
Okay.
So I had to call to congratulate you.
Thank you very much. Yes, thanks to your support, we've been able to accomplish the first step of identifying the microbe that causes Hinamizawa syndrome.
Mm-hmm. I see. Great job, Mio-chan. I'm sure Takano-kun is very happy in heaven right now.
He is not there. That's
I
a
was
little
just
too early
surprised.
to say. My grandfather was attempting to go beyond merely identifying the cause of the syndrome. His work was about showing the possibility of human thoughts actually being controlled by parasitic agents in our bodies. Only when that is proven will his research be recognized for the great achievement it is. When we're able to explain all thoughts and religions with parasites, the world is going to be tossed into chaos.
How interesting. I can just imagine how those religious big shots will react when they find out their leaders are parasites. How interesting. So, political commentary. I would just love to see that. I won't die until you show that to me, Mio-chan.
Please don't say that. Please don't say that. Well, I look forward to it, though. I'll make sure that this research will spread shock throughout the world. Then the whole world will finally realize how great my grandfather was, and they'll be fighting each other to read over the documents he left behind. Only then can I say that I've repaid my debt to him.
I'm a little envious of Takano-kun. I don't want money, you know. I don't mind getting rid of half of what I have. I just wish I had a grandchild who would carry on my legacy.
Thank you so much. Those words mean so much to me.
By the way, I sent you a present. It's a nice bottle of wine for you to celebrate with. I didn't know your address, so I sent it to the clinic. However, they told me they were having a difficult time importing it, so it might take a little while. But when it comes, please have a party with the people who helped you.
Celebratory wine? Well then, I wonder what expensive sort of drink Koizumi-sensei will be sending us.
I said nice, not expensive.
Fucking Trevor.
Oh, it's not that kind of expensive. Don't you remember, Mio-chan? Takano-kun used to keep a particular bottle of wine.
Remember. That's right. My grandfather kept a certain bottle of wine. I don't know if he bought it himself or if someone gave it to him. He treasured it. He always said he'd open it when his research finally gained recognition. Child then, so I don't even remember what brand it is, but Mr. Koizumi would know. Went through all the trouble to find the same bottle of wine for this special occasion. First time in a while, Takano felt the same sunny warmth she experienced during her time with her grandfather. Thank you very much, Uncle Koizumi.
I like it when you call me that, Mio-chan. I don't feel like you're speaking to me when you say Koizumi-sensei.
I can't help but smile along with him. Because I think Tomitake and Irie were having a similar exchange. If you like it that way, then I'll be happy to call you that when there's nobody around.
I'll be happy if you call me that even in front of people.
I don't know exactly how old he is, but if he can laugh so energetically, he'll live for many more years to come.
I'm 24.
I guess the saying about living a long life is true after all.
Takano-kun and I both wished you were truly part of our family. We really did.
My grandfather had his own family, of course. Because he was so into his research, he became estranged from his wife. They were legally married, but they lived separately. I never met his family when I was a child. I only met them after my grandfather committed suicide. During his latter years, my grandfather went into psychological despair and began to look at his life with cynicism. His condition became worse over time, and he was shocked at his own dementia, afraid of living while his consciousness degraded. So, he jumped off the roof of the hospital. Only my name was in his suicide note. None of his family members' names were in it. It's when all his relatives showed up and took everything my grandfather left behind. They were afraid I was going to get his estate. He had lawyers and all that, so I backed down. Asked for everything in his study in return. Those idiots don't understand the value of my grandfather's research. They were actually happy to strike a deal out of court, and they can also get rid of the piles of papers and jars with human organs in them. He never even showed up once when he was alive. Like hyenas, they appeared after his death. I'd never let them put their hands all over my grandfather's research. Fortunately, I was able to protect my grandfather's soul from their tainted hands.
Okay, I'll get going in here. If there's anything you need, be sure to call Uncle Koizumi, okay? I'll do anything for my granddaughter.
Thank you, Uncle Koizumi. I'll work even harder.
Christ, I got taken off guard there.
Yeah, you got a lot of rolls in this.
I was really slipping up there.
Yeah, you're fine.
No!
We gotta figure it out.
Oh! Huckleberries.
When I asked Rika-chan, she said that Satoko might have possibly gone to the mountain behind the shrine. She's fond of going there. The mountain is covered with trees, vines, and fallen logs. She really likes the area. Any child would dream of having a secret base. And to Satoko, her secret base is the whole mountain. However, the mountains were undeveloped territory, making them a dangerous place that was easy to get lost in. As her brother, I'm a little concerned that she spends too much time on it. I'm sure I'm worried more about myself getting lost since I rarely come here. The mountains get dark quickly when evening falls. Still I can't find her, I should look for her somewhere else. Satoko! Satoko! Yelling as loud as I can, but in the woods, my voice doesn't carry that well. According to Rika-chan, she's been making her secret base in this area. She goes out there all alone and to expand it. What does she mean by expand it? It's a secret base, she must not want anyone to find it. You mean she just set up some traps? Considering that, I should have noticed the traps in the mountain before one got me. Whoa! Suddenly my foot sunk into the ground and snagged something like a jump rope tied beneath dried leaves. I heard some noise from up above, and then a big ball made of branches fell right next to me. Like one of those playful traps that Satoko loved. If I wasn't so lucky, I'm sure the ball would have hit my head.
Oh my! Who's here? You, Nini.
Satoko! No, this kind of horseplay is dangerous!
Did you not see the sign put up by the Forestry Service? It clearly states it's dangerous to come into these woods. My wonderful traps will welcome anyone who ignores that warning. You're welcome.
As her brother, I should stop her from doing things like this. When I see her brilliant smile, I can't say anything else. I haven't seen that smile in some time. By the way, Satoko, were you told to come here home by evening since we're going out for dinner tonight?
I don't want to go. Why don't our mother and father go by themselves? If you want to, you can go with them, Nini.
Are you still angry at father?
Threw an ashtray at me.
No. How about their previous father? Our current one hasn't done that.
He locked me out on the veranda. He didn't feed me lunch. Complained I got him the wrong brand of cigarettes, and then he slapped my face saying I shouldn't be a picky eater. And then...
We didn't talk about our current stepfather. Things about all of our different stepfathers have mixed themselves up in her head. Every time our mother remarried, we had to call a different man our father. The word father isn't a word that should be taken lightly. If you don't truly acknowledge a man as your father, how can you call him that? However, just to make things smooth and peaceful, use the word father even if I didn't want to. It was too difficult for Satoko, young as she was, to do the same. Ever since Satoko was very little, she'd been having troubles with all of our stepfathers. She never opened up to her current one. Satoko, a father figure is no longer someone she can trust. It's true that her current stepfather doesn't have any experience being a parent, so he sometimes get rather upset with her. Ever since the incident where Satoko called the child abuse hotline, stepfather regretted his mistakes and tried his best to communicate with her. Even my mother realized how much Satoko had suffered emotionally when it was pointed out by the social worker, doing her part to try to bring Satoko back into the family. Satoko completely refuses to even try. Understandable, though. Her child has been filled with misery. Satoko can only open up to me. I have to be the one and only family member she can trust. Otherwise, she'll be all alone in this world. But a brother and a sister alone can't be considered a family. Even if we don't get along now, if you to communicate, even in a small way, maybe we'll become a real family again someday. Satoko, our current stepfather is getting nicer. He's gonna make up with you.
That's news to me.
That's because every time he tries to say something, you run away. He wants to talk to you. Because he won't make you eat pumpkin anymore.
That's a lie. He said I couldn't leave until I ate my pumpkin and he tied me to the chair.
Again, she's been talking about our current stepfather. Satoko, just come home with me, okay? Mother got a free dinner coupon. We don't want to go to waste, do we? We have the reservations. So we have to go today.
Why don't you go, Mimi? I prefer staying home alone.
Satoko usually doesn't stay out playing us late. Because we're going out, and that's why she's here all alone. If I want to snap at Satoko, I controlled myself. Because she only has me. I can't scare her. Please. Let's go home, Satoko. You don't decide to go or now or not. You don't have to decide to go or not right now. You can think about it after we get there. Besides, without your help, I can't find my way down the mountain.
Mimi, I've brought you here so many times already, and yet you still haven't learned? What am I going to do with you, Mimi?
Satoko holds out her hand. Shona says that she's embarrassed to hold my hand in front of people, but she's holding out her hand right now. I took that hand. Satoko's fragile hand. I have to protect her as her big brother. Let's go home, Satoko.
Sure.
We're gonna see a lot of abuse, aren't we?
That was nice and short. Holy shit.
Thank God.
I think this can also just confirm that Satoko does have a little problem remembering which father did what, and that could attribute to...
Why does it say it's required first? Is it just literally a lie?
I think that's just what it means on that page.
Oh, for that page, okay.
My name is Satoko Hojo. Hojo is my current father's family name. It was also Satoko Hatake, Satoko Yoshizawa, and also Satoko Matsuura, because of my previous fathers. I'm still not used to being called Hojo-san. If someone calls me Satoko, then I know that person is talking to me. Because Satoko is the name I've been using since I was born. I don't understand why my mother keeps getting married and divorced. If she's going to get a divorce, why does she get married? She's married, why does she get a divorce? I've asked her before, but depending on the situation, her answers were different. When I asked her when she was married, she got angry. When I asked her after she got divorced, she cried. I don't understand the meaning of marriage. So I have no interest in drawing pictures of a bride in a wedding dress. I don't think I'll ever get married. I don't want to keep changing my child's last name. My teacher once asked if I liked my mother. think it was when I was in kindergarten in Okinomiya. It was a very difficult question. Because sometimes I loved her very much and sometimes I hated her very much. Couldn't decide. My mother was nice, she smiled all the time. She made us happy. She thanked me for being her daughter. When my mother wasn't nice, she frowned all the time. She treated my brother and me very poorly. She told me I should never have been born. My teacher asked me if I liked my father. It was a very easy question, because I always hated him very much, no matter who he was. Two fathers always treated me nicely at first, as if I was their real daughter. They always told me I could think of them as my real father. But they couldn't be my real father. Nights, I don't even know my real father's face. How could I call him my father? I couldn't. That was disgusting. Right before divorce, my father always became very irritated with me. Treated me like a cockroach. Told me they didn't have money to feed me. They threw things at me. They locked me out on the veranda. I was told I could forget about them because that was all in the past. You'd think that was a different teacher from a different school. Maybe that's true. Because ever since Hojo became my father, my mother has been smiling. I haven't seen them get into a fight as I have seen happen just before a divorce. They have little arguments here and there, but those don't lead to a divorce, and they always make up. But I'm sure they'll get a divorce sooner or later. And then it'll be the same old stuff with the family court, divorce settlements, and night flight and child support. So who knows how long this Hojo will be my father. That's why I don't even feel like calling him that. So he also treated me well at first. I didn't call him father even after he asked repeatedly. He became irritated. Get a divorce soon. My father gets into this mood. Divorce is on the way. After a divorce, it's my mother's turn to be irritated with me. And she'll tell me she shouldn't have had me or she can't be happy because of me. Why is my existence causing problems for my mother? I asked my brother and he told me. If you have children, it's not easy to find someone to get married with. My mother, remarriage is a very important job, so I can understand having children around will cause problems. I think I finally understand the reason why I'm a nuisance to her. I asked my brother something else. Why are children hated by new fathers? Well, that's simple. Because family members all have different roles. The mother's job is to love her children. The father's job is to love the mother. It means I'm a nuisance to both my mother and my father. My brother is more mature than me, so they don't look down on him as a nuisance. Maybe I am. No. I definitely am a nuisance.
Oh, the text.
So now I know. If my mother and father want me dead. If they kill me, they'll be caught. That doesn't mean they won't kill me. If I were to look down the cliff, and if no one was around, my mother and father would push me off for sure. My father has become abnormally nice to me recently. He started to act that way ever since I made the fake call. I know for sure that it's just part of a plot to kill me. I won't let them trick me. Sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry. Lately, when I listen very carefully, I can hear a voice apologizing. The voice sounds similar to mine. Her mother must be telling her that she shouldn't have been born. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I won't apologize like that. I'll live. I'm going to strike back. I'll kill before I get killed. I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
Well,
That seemed
Yeah,
to be
that's
suffering from level 4 of the
You pushed your parents off the cliff.
syndrome. Because it was like the
Terminal
paranoia.
7, Luigi.
Yeah, the extreme,
Seven.
the general confusion, the extreme paranoia. That was like the Hinamizawa syndrome hitting hard, which leads me to my theory. Like, does being born in Hinamizawa at like an extremely young, does being born in
Yes,
Hinamizawa
that's-
fuck up your brain?
That's right, AC. Living in a certain country living in a certain place gives you brain damage.
Also,
This was just literally
she's
being
a-
bounced between all of these awful circumstances. The abusive father, her mother may or may not have borderline personality disorder. All of this, combined with her nihilistic outlook on all of this, just really escalated it. Oh, she's actually, yeah. Even that, and the brain damage she has, no wonder she's constantly at a level 4 state. She's a ticking time bomb.
she's level 4 Hidamizawa and she won't eat anything that casts a shadow.
Ooh, the Hojo
Don't get it.
siblings.
Yeah.
The Hojo family is well known for going against the whole village during the dam conflict. Both the husband and the wife were rather aggressive, fought a fierce battle, especially against the Sonozaki family. Blah, blah, blah. Although the whole village treated them coldly, the husband and wife didn't really care and kept on fighting. In a way, they were extremely strong-willed people. Sure, the children had to go through a lot because of them, though. Sadako-chan and Satoshi-kun were treated coldly by the villagers as well. In addition to that, Satoko-chan and her stepfather didn't get along. Stress levels must have reached their limits. So I'm the director of the local clinic. As a respected member of society, people usually tell me a lot of things. I was aware of the treatment they were receiving even before I met them. I met Satoshi-kun first. Satoshi-kun came to the clinic because he felt ill from too much stress. He must have thought he had a cold. I examined him, he even told me that. Hearing his repeated sighs by seeing an exhausted look in his eyes. I knew right away it wasn't just a simple cold. Medications would heal his symptoms. There'd only be a temporary measure. The only way to truly cure him would be to change his living environment. But that was easier said than done. He was surrounded by tangled and complicated relationships with the village and his family, so just resting for a few days and taking some medication wouldn't do. This is the only thing that could ease off the cold treatment from the villagers. We're taking a very, very long time. I felt I had to be their first ally in the village, so I could rescue them. I couldn't do anything about his stressful environment. I tried to diminish their anxiety. The best way was to teach them how to vent his stress. And playing sports is the best way to do that. That's to join the junior baseball team that I coach. As a researcher, I devote most of my time to Hinamizawa syndrome. I need something to do something else to relax. To play baseball, and to coach the local kids team. For a while, the children of Hinamizawa started their own baseball team, and somehow I became their coach. Doctors can provide health just by giving medication. He has a sound mind and a sound body. I believe health can be maintained through sports as well. But our team needed more people. I thought of asking Satoshi-kun to join. Being a bookworm, Satoshi-kun wasn't interested in playing sports. He wasn't sure joining the baseball team would help his situation. I didn't need to go on and on about athletic medicine to explain why sports help people become healthy. I wanted him to experience it himself, and to realize how great it feels to play sports. I think he realized it gradually. He was lucky until the very end, but he attended all the team activities and games. So Satoshi-kun slowly regained his liveliness. I realized my plan worked. However, Satoshi-kun wasn't under that much stress. And Satoko-chan, who lived in the same family climate, must have felt the same way. Unfortunately, I didn't think of her back then. Who does? So when Satoko-chan was carried into my clinic as a patient, I regretted doing nothing about her even when knowing the situation. Satoshi-kun recovered under my guidance. Satoko-chan was left alone in a stressful environment. And around that time, there was an incident bad enough to make Satoko-chan collapse. That was, of course, her parents' deaths. The day of the Watanagashi Festival was a very uncomfortable time for the Hojo family. Because although it was a village festival, it was a day to celebrate victory over the dam construction site. And instead of whether they would plan a family trip around that time so they could leave the village. Satoko-chan's parents fell off that cliff at the park they were visiting. It happened on such an unlucky day. Because it happened on the day of the Watanagashi. They said it was the curse of Oyashiro-sama. People labeled the Hojo family as the one that was cursed by Oyashiro-sama. Parents were given the cold shoulder by everyone in the village. So with their parents gone, Satoshi and Satoko should have been freed from that. But unfortunately, that accident happened on the day of the Watanagashi. The members of the Hojo family continued to be shunned. Satoko-chan was the only one who was at the site of the accident. Satoshi-kun didn't go to the trip because he had an event with the baseball team. Therefore, the police mainly interrogated her. The detective, Uishi, suspected an act of organized crime by the village. But when Satoko-chan was the only witness on site, he drilled her with questions.
Motherfucking!
She was distressed to Satoshi-kun, perhaps even more, but of course she couldn't take it. During the interrogation, began to wheeze and grasp for air. The anguished look I saw on Satoko-chan's face when she was carried into the clinic was very, very tragic. It broke my heart just to imagine what she had gone through. Coach, is Satoko okay? Yes,
Nope.
Don't worry. She's a bit confused, but only temporary. That's all. May I see her? She finally fell asleep. I'd rather not wake her up just yet. I'll just let her rest for a while. Maybe it's a good idea to have her stay here for a few days, too. Don't worry. I'll take good care of her. Thank you. Satoshi-kun is a great big brother who cares about his sister. He empathizes deeply with her. In other words, Satoshi-kun's worries and stress were reflecting on Satoko-chan herself. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but while Satoshi-kun was, of course, sad about his parents' deaths, he may, at the same time, have been a little relieved that they were gone. His sister wouldn't have to be drilled into a corner anymore. Unlike Satoshi-kun, Satoko-chan didn't have the social skills to get along with her stepfather. But putting her mother aside, I was certainly losing her father, the greatest cause of stress in her life, bring great change to her home environment. But I couldn't believe what happened next. The two were sent to live in an even worse environment with their aunt and uncle. But although at that time, I was rather optimistic, thinking that this new environment would be better for the siblings. And then it got
quick.
fucked up.
Man,
So I gotta go ahead and agree with the. Fuck. I know.
It wants to be a random
You're
housekeeper.
done. It's sorry. A friend is here.
Orange.
Still you. This is Mion talking. Or
I heard the
thinking.
housekeeper's voice. All our house and the front yard are huge, so unlike normal houses, ringing a doorbell or yelling my name repeatedly, asking to play won't work. Okay, thank you. Who is it? Rika Furade-chama! Oh, finally. Can you tell Granny that Rika-chama is here? I think she's on the porch. I'll get the watermelon. Granny received many beautiful watermelons from somebody, so she wanted to share. I just called the Faraday house a short time ago, and Rika-chan is here to pick one up. Did she come on her bicycle? I can't remember if she has a big enough basket. Pulled the watermelon from the well while thinking about that. Cold water in the well has refrigerated the watermelon, and the condensation makes it look delicious. Members of the Faraday family will enjoy it for at least 2 nights.
Me? Am I supposed to take it home? I thought...
What? Didn't your dad tell you? Priest answered the phone, and I thought I told him to come pick it up. Maybe I wasn't clear enough, or maybe he misunderstood me completely. But she's here to eat the watermelon, not to take it home. It's fucking precious. Besides, the small basket on Rika-chan's bicycle won't hold the watermelon. And it's too dangerous for her to ride while holding it in her hands. Yon, why don't you help Rika-chama take the watermelon? The way she can ride her bicycle while carrying it.
Me? I can hold the watermelon.
Oh no, that's too dangerous. Something happened to you, I wouldn't know what to say to Oyashiro-sama. Yon will help you. Okay, I will. I'll go say hello to the priest, too. No matter whether she rides or pushes her bicycle, Rika's-chan's hands will be occupied. So I'm going to carry the watermelon. Sky's turning auburn in the sunset. Cool breeze feels good on my sandaled feet. The plastic bag I'm carrying contains the watermelon. And also some small bags of rock candy. If her mother finds them, she'll take them away, so we decided to eat them before we got to her home. Opened the bags and enjoyed the rock candy. Rika-chan isn't an exception. Whenever kids from our neighborhood come to our house for errands, Granny gives them some treats. Actually, that's a pretty common rule here in Hinamizawa. Suck on Halloween. Funny, but sometimes when parents aren't watching, siblings will fight over who gets to take the circular notice to the next house over. So these bags of rock candy are like tips for them. Of course, she doesn't normally give out this much. Usually it's just a little piece of it. Granny is being extra nice to Rika-chama.
I feel bad getting all this candy.
Don't worry. Granny loves you. You should just thank her and put a big smile on your face, that's all.
You get lots of treats?
I used to. But at this age, they don't give me any. If they did, though, I would probably feel like I was being treated like a little kid.
Me. I'm being treated like a child then.
That's okay. Enjoy it while you can. You become as old as me, you won't even get any. You won't get any, even if you wanted some. Not like you can perpetually live out your lifestyle 100 times or something. We talked about ordinary things. I noticed Rika-chan seemed a little sad. What's wrong?
Whenever I run errands, I get candy as a treat. Satoko doesn't get any even if she comes with me.
I can think of so many reasons why. Not only Satoko, but everyone in the Hojo family is being treated poorly in Hinamizawa. And the Sonozaki family are the ones who instigated that. The 2 dam supporters have died in an accident already. The malice against the Hojo family is still going on. It's directed against Satoko and Satoshi, their children, and the aunt and uncle who are taking care of them. A big fight between the Hojo family and the Sonozaki family at the explanatory meeting started all this. But that was the Hojo couple, and it shouldn't have anything to do with the children and their aunt and uncle. But the idea that the Hojo family are traitors evolved on its own. Therefore, anyone bearing the Hojo name is to be treated poorly. Aunt and uncle weren't dam supporters. Sure, they're shitty people, but they're not supporters. So over time, the attacks towards them should have stopped. They're rather odd, and they keep having trouble with their neighbors. Grant is a bitch. Their uncle's a dick. They don't follow the community rules, they don't do their community duties, and they spray pesticide while their neighbor's laundry is still hanging outside. What the hell does that? Often get into fights with other villagers. Be hated even without the dam. Therefore, the Hojo family continues to be treated poorly. None of that should have anything to do with Satoko and Satoshi. Satoko and Satoshi are often depressed at school. I try to leave the conflict between the 2 families aside, but I wonder how they really feel about that. From their point of view, I'm just another member of the family that keeps harassing them. And I don't want any of that at school. That's why I try to be their friend while they're there.
Can we get that to extend outside too instead of staying in the school?
That'd be pretty difficult. The Joe family made enemies of the 3 families. Are branded as traitors, and that's still considered the truth. I wouldn't mean anything if one person suggested an end to the hostilities just because the events around the dam are history now. Contrary, that would just put them in the same position. Unfortunately for Satoko and Satoshi, the only thing they can do is to wait patiently until the issue withers away. All I can do for them is provide an oasis until that day comes.
Oh, how long do they have to wait?
I don't know. Dam conflict lasted for several years. Were branded back then, so it might take years to clear up too.
You mean they won't be forgiven until they become adults? Will Satoko have to live out her childhood going through that?
That's pretty miserable, isn't it?
Me? We're their friends, aren't we?
Sure. They're my friends. We're all buddies.
And isn't there something we can do to help our friends?
What exactly can we do? Even if the Sonozaki family declares that the dam conflict is over so the Hojo family are no longer outcasts, that won't solve the problem. It's not that simple. Nothing ever is. First place, Granny hates the Hojo family and won't suffer their name to be mentioned in her presence. It's not a matter of someone forgiving another. Matter of very complicated ties between the people in this village. It's absolutely terrifying to have them as your enemies. Everyone knows that very well, and that's why they maintain good relationships with their neighbors. However, if you make enemies out of them, you'll have to face the consequences. That's the unwritten law of the Japanese community. And the Sonozaki family is a part of this unwritten law. That the Hojo family are outcasts. Not even the Sonozaki family can overturn the situation.
Oh, even if it's an issue of Hinamizawa, can't do anything about this Hinamizawa residence?
Unfortunately, probably so, yeah. There's someone who can help Satoko. That person must be someone who has nothing to do with the village. Someone who's probably a total simp. There's no one like that here.
Are you saying someone from the outside has to come help her?
Rika-chan said, the knight in shining armor from the outside world ever come here? That person bring in a new wind in this village that has been filled with stale air for hundreds of years? And possibly be a pervert? No way. That's just wishful thinking. Time will solve the problem someday. Until then, I have to be their ally. Can't think of anything else I can do for them. As Rika-chan and I crunched on our rock candy, we can only pray that people will forgive Satoko and her family sooner rather than later. Rika-chan gently broke the heavy silence.
I know. Know someone with absolutely nothing to do with the village will come here from the outside.
That's right. The dam conflict is over, so it'd be great if more people moved into those lots that are for sale. Wouldn't it be fun if a family with a kid our age moved in?
He will come. No. We will break this evil practice alongside him. It will be his first key to one of the 3 locks that have us trapped in the past.
What's this? Are you talking about a novel or something? John says some odd things sometimes. She talks that way, she seems so mature. I even start to doubt she's really younger than I am. And reasonable antagonism towards the Hojo family. Will there really be someone from the outside who will shatter our traditions?
Bruh.
Bruh.
Are you talking about famous?
Foreshadowing!
Are you talking about famous book Higurashi When They Cry, written by Akasaka?
Kings and Crimson over here. Meanwhile, Keiji is shooting kids in the alleyway with a BB gun.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Huh.
Satoshi Kun is a good brother who takes great care of his sister. He went to visit Satoko-chan straight after school and kept encouraging her to get better every day. Without even hearing Satoshi-kun's stories, it's obvious to me that Satoko-chan never had a good relationship with her step-parents. She especially didn't get along with her stepfather. Satoko-chan even called the child abuse hotline once. Not only that, her parents ended up dying in an accident, so she just wasn't able to withstand all that damage. Satoko-chan is still very young. Everything must have been horrible for her to go through. Fortunately, she has a wonderful brother. Emotional wounds are hard to heal. Nothing heals those wounds better than the love from a family member. So that one day Satoko-chan, was able to smile again. Still in shock, but when she talks to Satoshi-kun, she smiles a little bit. Oishi in the police department keeps requesting to see her. I think I need to protect her for just a little longer. While he's passionate about his job, I wish he'd be a touch more sensitive. It reminds her of her parents' accident, her emotional wounds will start to open again. That's the one part I worry about with Satoko-chan. Here's him knocking on the door. It's Takano-san. Doesn't look right, wearing a nurse's uniform like that. A licensed doctor should be wearing a white coat and act like one. This is fun for her, but I think she might be insulting the other nurses. I didn't say anything, though.
Dr. Irie, may I talk with you?
Oh, yes. Well, Satoshi-kun, if you'll excuse me. Ah, sure.
Hello, Satoshi-kun. Please keep Satoko-chan company. She's always alone, so I bet she's lonely. Okay?
Oh no, that's not true.
Okay, Satoshi-kun, you're in charge. I gotta let Satoshi-kun take over. Something happened.
We're saying about my outfit, you little boy slut.
What? Gonna follow that up?
Yeah, sorry. I had a bit there, and I guess I kind of lost it in my head.
Look, they literally handed you a free horny line right here.
Not right here. Let's go to your office.
Oucha bow wow.
Why did a bass line start just now? Takano-san smiled meaningfully. Usually, smiles bring happy feelings. When it comes to Takano-san, that's rarely the case. Are you sure?
Yes. Initial test results show there's a possibility she's at level 3 or above. Need to keep her here and run some more tests. Results aren't in yet, but from what I can see, it's very possible that she's at level 4.
Takano-san's eyes sparkled in a weird way. Like she knew that Satoko had red text right now. There's a reason for that. For us, finding patients in the terminal stage is a valuable boon to our research. In fact, as a result of dissecting the murder suspect from last year, we made great progress in our research. In other words, we finally managed to isolate the pathogen. We'll discover that when the host dies, the pathogen melts away within a few hours. Once that happens, it's undetectable. But we never found the pathogen when we performed autopsies. Our research made a lot of progress after that. We found in the past year, he has easily surpassed what the late Dr. Takano found in decades. We're now studying the nature, the effect, and the symptoms of the pathogen, as well as the treatment and vaccines. In other words, a living specimen at the terminal stages is necessary for our research. However, we rarely find a patient who's gone that far, who has reached L5. Higurashi syndrome once created huge numbers of L5 patients, but today it doesn't have such potency. Because of that, we have to secure L5 patients, or patients who are close to reaching L5 as quickly as possible. Satoko-chan probably qualifies to be the next sacrifice. Keep this strange disease a secret. We can't let patients who may be L5 let go. We have to run more tests first. I'll figure out what to do next. In any case, Satoko-chan seems to be calm. Her behavior is nothing like the man from last year. Those tests are in error sometimes. I'll have to wait for the results of a more detailed test to determine how serious her condition is. Regular nurse.
Sorry, men can be nurses too.
Men can be nurses too.
Okay.
Oh, I thought Denton was taking it.
I said okay. That's to say, I said okay.
Yeah.
Let's submit it for observation. Does the staff know to get things ready? It's like a formal answer, but if the results come back positive, then there'll be the green light for a dissection. I don't know Satoko-chan that well. But I've known her brother, Satoshi-kun, the baseball team for a long time. How could I dissect the apple of Satoshi-kun's eye? I can feel scary images flashing in my head for the first time.
Don't worry. Everything is already taken care of.
She smiled as if telling me that the dissection is already being prepared for. Is it just her who's smiling? Am I smiling like her, too? When I dissected that man last year, I did feel guilt beforehand. Once I started, it was like I was in paradise. All the pieces of the puzzle that were left by the late Dr. Takano fell into place. At the same time, they didn't. How exciting it was. Knowing that we are the first ones to take the first steps to solve a mystery, that is. I don't know how to explain this feeling to those who have never experienced it. There's no way to describe the words. The thing I can say is that even a year later, so remember it vividly. Vividly. The results show that Satoshi-kun's beloved sister is to be dissected. Can I control myself? Can I stay calm? It's a failure of a human being. I know very well that the Hojo family was treated poorly by the villagers, though what Satoko-chan had to go through. Also, I know that Satoshi-kun loves her sister, which is one and only blood relative. How can I dissect Satoko-chan using my research as an excuse? I didn't feel much guilt for the man from last year. I felt unbearable guilt towards Satoko-chan. Things what I did last year was very sinful. I don't care if a stranger dies. But I don't want Satoko-chan to die. That's not right. All lives are equally precious unless they don't have a name, and then in which case they're free for dissection. But I convinced myself that he was a violent murderer. Maybe he only became that way because he was at the terminal stage. I don't think about him before he became deranged. Maybe he was a model citizen who was worthy of respect. Unfortunately, he became ill and ended up doing what he did. Maybe he was a victim himself. Just like my father. I know more about Higurashi syndrome than anybody, except maybe Takano. She probably knows more than me. These many people act in bizarre ways. Are those people realizing it? The people at the terminal stage do such strange and violent things. One should be sympathetic. I already knew back then, when I decided to go down this path. I remembered it sooner, but I only did just now. I finally realized what sinful research I'm working on. Satoko Hojo's detailed test results came back. The results say L5. At the terminal stage of the terminal stage. Extra surprising result. In last year's case, the patient was extremely deranged. From Takano-san's records, he complained about itching coming from the lymph nodes all of his body. I want to call it his throat, just the late Dr. Takano mentioned. But Satoko-chan isn't displaying such symptoms. Given the late Takano's data, Dr. Long said to be a characteristic symptom of terminal stage patients. However, not all patients experience that symptom. Besides, emotional expression is very different from each person. Even if it's the same emotion, one patient may express it rather violently, and another may express it calmly. There's no way of knowing just by looking at the person. But Satoko-chan's detailed test results say that she is at the terminal stage of the terminal stage. L5. Another she may be feeling what the man from last year was feeling. But that she isn't expressing that feeling in the same way the man was. Higurashi syndrome affects the frontal lobes of the brain. Simulates the most primitive emotions. Doubt. Very strongly. As a result, terminal patients are trapped in delusions and paranoia, and are committing horrible crimes. Satoko-chan seems to show improvements when she's exchanging friendly words with Satoshi-kun. There's a paranoia stirring inside her that may put her in a deranged state at any moment. I can't let her leave the clinic like this. However, things go according to the manual. I'll make a decision on her dissection. A decision will only be a formality. I can't actually refuse. Takano-san appears to already be working on the dissection schedule. That plan will then come to me. But I feel the same way. While dissecting Satoko-chan, I will experience that trance once again. No, the question is, can I fight the temptation? To pretend to question myself, Satoko-chan letting Takano-san prepare things on her own. By doing so, I am passively agreeing to Satoko-chan's dissection. If possible, I want to save Satoko-chan. I don't want to be a sacrifice for this research. I don't want to dissect her. What about the man from last year? Do I only care about the lives of people I know? If I don't dissect her, do I let her live and leave the clinic? It's the only way for her to become deranged to commit a horrible crime. Then she'll appear just like the man from last year. I'll end up dissecting her anyway. The man from last year was dissected alive. Kept away for several months.
Bruh.
Still left open. He wasn't have to die for several months. At the largest very cruel experiments. I didn't want to do that to her. Don't know what to do. Even debating and agonizing over it is leading to its consent to our dissection by elimination.
Fuck, are you Mengele already?
Man, we call it there. I am tired as hell.
No, we have to get to 20. We have to finish 20. We have to get at least 10 done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh,
out of what?